This is QTV News coming to you from our studios on Caraba Avenue. I am Umudu Gajaga and thanks for joining us. First, here are the main news headlines. Officials of the Gambia Police Force have impounded at least 38 vehicles from drivers who were overcharging commuters and not complying with the new transport fare regulation. An inauguration ceremony was held for the new chief of Foni Kansala District at a colourful event which was held in Bwiam in the West Coast region. In international news, the latest Mo Ibrahim Index 2022 report has stated that the Africa's overall governance performance has remained static in most countries while there are improvements in some. And in sports news, Mariama Sowe, the coach of the Gambia Women's national football team, says winning the bronze medal at the recently ended WAFU Senior Women's Football Championship in Cape Verde has boosted their morale ahead of other competitions. Those were the main news headlines, and now the news in detail.
By 30, we're paying $4,500. This is the height of injustice, and it is unacceptable. We are not compromising with this broad daylight robbery by drivers, and we are putting a stop to it.
Piero Dabo also states that to put an end to this unfair practice by drivers, traffic police officers will be deployed in all the major traffic points and violators of the regulations will be dealt with appropriately. He calls on the public to help the police in this operation.
You do not allow such things to go. Report them to the nearest police station, report them to traffic police officers on the road, report them to other concerned security personnel to make sure that it is put to a stop. Pay the fare that you are supposed to pay. If it is $28, you pay your $28 and take your $2 change. If it is $30, you pay your $30 amount and take your change. But you do not also have to pay less than the amount that should be charged.
Banjai and Malayan Chama, whose vehicles have been impounded, also spoke to QTV.
Since last year, we've been plying Westfield, Banjul Terminal for $25. When they increased the fare, we still maintain the $25. We are all family men. We are calling on our union leader to stand for the 7-passenger vehicle drivers. I want them to look into this carefully. It is not that we want to violate the law. There are vehicles that take 4, 7, 10, 18, and even 32 passengers. So if you do the same for the price for all of them, those with smaller vehicles will not earn anything. They should look into the system.
For so long, commuters have been complaining about the practice of some drivers who will stop twice or 3 times along the route they apply to charge the passengers twice or thrice instead of going straight to their destination. With the police in action to enforce the new regulations, the commuters we spoke to say they are relieved, at least for now. For QTV News, I am Julden Yai.
An inauguration ceremony was held at the weekend for the new chief of Foni Kansala District. The colourful event was held in Bwiam in the West Coast region. Babukar Sise tells us more.
I, Ali Nyasi,
do swear that I will execute the functions of the chief of Foni Kansala District without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution and other laws of the Gambia. So help me God.
So help me Allah.
That was the new chief, Ali Nyasi, taking the oath of secrecy and allegiance administered by Usman Bojang, the governor of the West Coast region. This was followed by the handing over of the scepter, the symbol of authority for chieftaincy. This historic event was attended by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Fabakary Tombong Jatta, Paramount Chief of the Gambia, Modu Bojang, members of the APRC, and security chiefs, amongst other dignitaries. In his inaugural speech, Chief Nyasi promised to work with the people of Foni, his fellow chiefs and alcalos, and pledged to support the government's development agenda.
We are here to commend President Barrow's efforts to develop the country. It is our country, and he has chosen us because he has trust in us. We are the only ones who can develop Foni and the Gambia. People in politics, please let's join hands and work together. We may think differently, but our aim for the Gambia should be the same. If you want to be with me, you have to be honest and truthful.
Usman Bojang, the governor of the West Coast region, assured the new chief and the people of the region of government's support.
President
President Barrow wants the country developed. We are governors and we are with the government. I urge the people of Foni Kansala not to allow politics divide them. My office door is always open for you, the alcalos and the chiefs.
Sheriff Abassanyang, Minister of Lands and Regional Government, who hails from Foni, expressed his displeasure with the political division in Foni.
There is a lot of bickering in the country, but Foni Kansala is the worst. Why should that happen? Politics is not about violence, fighting, hating each other. We would like to commend President Barrow for promoting freedom and respect for human rights in the whole country.
The chief of Foni Berefet has this advice for the people of Foni.
My people, let us believe in Allah and support the government that Allah has given us. It is Allah who bestowed this chieftaincy on us.
Musa Amul Nyasi, a former National Assembly member for Foni Kansala, Deputy Governor of the West Coast region, and Minister of Local Government and Lands, perhaps understands the history of Foni better than most.
The elders are here, and I stand to be corrected. When chieftaincy was contested, it has ever been between two families in Foni Kansala. And that is the family of the Honorable Minister, Sheriff Abassanyang, and my family. Until recently, our glory was lost, but today it's rediscovered.
The 5 Foni National Assembly members who, as APRC members, refused to endorse the NPP-APRC coalition and contested and won their parliamentary seats on an independent ticket were not present at this event. Whether they were invited or not isn't clear. After the swearing in, the national flag was hoisted in the new chief's residence to symbolize the beginning of his chieftaincy. The new chief has been described by many as a dedicated, peace-loving and hard-working man with potential for successful leadership. Babukar Sise, QTV News.
From that story, now we take a commercial break, and when we return, we still have some more local, international, and sports news stories. Do stay tuned.
Amna lu manqué de. Lu manqué? Armanti mayonnaise so amul duma lek. Ma ngi ñëw man ma jégi armanti. Ah. Noko gisé? Safna, neexna. Ndax mom ci armanti mayonnaise ak sauce boko ci def rek da fay neex. Ni la. Armanti mayonnaise. Ren la am 28 years. Wow. Ta cafka mosul ci tegon tankam fala ko tek ba tay man nak armanti dama ko min yalla dafa dogal armanti dafa don sama xale yeen jéegi réew mi neena len ñaar fukki at ak juroom ñett du fukki at ak juroom ñett de du ay fodde mala ñu wax li duggu len ci bepp marché bepp supermarket bepp boutique ci biir réew mi amna 500 ml 1000 ml ak 5 kilo li ci gëna té dakh moy def len indil 25 gram moy ciatu mayonnaise bi amna margarine bota amna bota ice am corned beef bu yap ak bu ginar amna sardine ak banana milk armanti dal dafa compléter lepp ngir noppal jeeg yi seen biir waay. Armanti product, the good quality food.
To make sure your company's products and services reach your potential customers, it is essential that you choose the right channel for your marketing purposes. QTV has the widest reach locally and beyond, and we can give your business the visibility it needs. Call QTV Marketing on +220 324 4444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm and take your business to the world.
Welcome back, and thank you very much if you're just joining us. This is QTV News. Now return to our second story. China's embassy in the Gambia on Friday hosted an award ceremony for the winners of the Chinese Spring Festival quiz competition in the Gambia. The event is part of the highlights of its celebration of the Chinese New Year, also known as the Spring Festival, which is the biggest festival in China. Mudalamin Choi files in this report.
The Chinese Spring Festival is the grandest and the most colorful festival in China. It marks the beginning of the lunar year, which is based on the cycles of the moon and the earth. This year, the festival falls on Sunday, 22nd of January. At the Chinese embassy, in what is a public diplomacy engagement, dozens of Gambians gather for an award ceremony. Featuring in the award ceremony are Kung Fu Wushu Federation and a young Chinese diplomat. Young participants from schools and the University of the Gambia are also present. The quiz was organized by the Chinese embassy through the Standard newspaper, which featured questions about China's tradition and culture. Lamin Cham is the editor-in-chief of the Standard newspaper.
The questions were very tricky even for myself, but looking through the entries, I am surprised and amazed that Gambians have done tremendously well. Some have only one wrong, some only two wrong, only three wrongs. So I think you should start clapping for yourself, all of you here first.
Winners of the quiz are presented with prizes, which include mobile phones and headsets. Emerging in first position in the competition is Georgina Reilly.
China and the Gambia have a good diplomatic relation, so it is no surprise that the Chinese embassy in the Gambia has cooperated with the Standard newspaper for this Chinese traditional culture award-winning quiz, which is a step for Gambians to learn, understand, and appreciate the traditional Chinese culture.
Students from the Confucius Institute at the University of the Gambia and Nusrat Senior Secondary School recite poems and dazzle onlookers with fluency in Mandarin.
在哪里，在哪里见过你？你的笑容这样熟悉，我一时想不起。啊，在梦里。
China's ambassador to the Gambia, Li Jin, speaks to the media about his country's commitment to its diplomatic cooperation with the Gambia and its people.
President Barrow mentioned before that our two countries are true friends. Yeah, I think well, two sides work together to promote our bilateral relations. Now we have a very good relation. How to keep this good relation sustainable? I think the key is to increase people's understanding and the friendship. That's very important. Yeah.
As tradition, the Chinese zodiac links animal signs to each lunar year in a cycle of 12 years. The animal designation changes at the new year. This year is the year of rabbit. The rabbit is believed to represent gentle, quiet, modest, efficient, and smart. The year of the rabbit is reported to have historical significance to the China-Gambia diplomatic relations. This is because in 1975, 7 months after the establishment of diplomatic ties between China and the Gambia, then President Jawara paid visit to China and met the popular Chinese leader, Chairman Mao. The week-long state visit by the then Gambian leader led to the signing of technical cooperation agreements which defined and shaped China's development efforts for the Gambia in sports, agriculture, health, and infrastructure. In this light, a day after his visit, a $13 million agreement was signed for the construction of a sports stadium, now known as the Independence Stadium and Friendship Hostel, and 2 hospitals in the Gambia. A leading Gambian historian, Hasum Sise, in an article, described it as, quote-unquote, one of the most memorable and most important diplomatic outings by any Gambian leader since independence. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Neneh MC Cham, a lawyer and chairperson of the National Agency for Legal Aid, has, amongst other things, called on other lawyers to work for NALA as a necessary sacrifice for their country. Jennifer Sonko has more.
The National Agency for Legal Aid was established by an Act of Parliament in 2008. According to Neneh MC Cham, a seasoned lawyer and chairperson of the National Agency for Legal Aid, lack of capacity is a major setback for NALA. The agency provides legal advice as well as legal representation in criminal matters in court, police stations and prisons. When people are charged with capital offences and they are unable to afford the fees to hire a lawyer, they are provided with legal representation through legal aid.
We certainly need to encourage, constantly doing that, our colleagues to make that little bit of sacrifice to come and work for NALA. But I have to say that there are some lawyers, we have a partnership with the bar, where certain cases, when they're very complex perhaps, or very, in the court martials, etc., some lawyers have volunteered to come forward for a minimal fee to assist and do the case for NALA. And you will also notice that our lawyers are very young, and experience is very important. So we also need very experienced lawyers to be able to handle the most difficult and complex cases. So NALA is constrained, that is no secret.
The agency currently receives technical support. The LA Piper, a multinational law firm currently training lawyers and doctors in the Gambia.
The need for it because expert evidence, expert opinion, expert evidence is very important in a trial, particularly criminal cases, which is what NALA handles. Usually there's a crime, alleged crime committed. There's either a murder or whatever, and injuries. That's why the medical doctors are here. And how to handle this evidence and how does it go into court and how do you handle it, that's what they're being trained on. As defense counsel as well as prosecutors. We have prosecutors here as well, because the doctors are usually called upon to bring the evidence of the injuries or otherwise.
We also asked lawyer Cham whether the period it takes for law students to do their pupillage, the apprenticeship they must undergo to become full-fledged lawyers, is too long.
Which is absolutely important. Go to England. You'll have to serve it. It's like apprenticeship. I mean, do you just, straight from medical school, you want to operate on people? Straight from law school, you want to start handling people's cases? So we realized that it was necessary. It was the 1 year pupillage that you spend under a senior lawyer of at least 10 years standing to see the practical aspects of the job before you actually handle personally people's cases. Remember, you're going to be handling life and property of people.
Neneh MC Cham is a private legal practitioner in active general legal practice since her enrollment in November 2000. She served as the president of the Female Lawyers Association and is a recognized advocate and defender of human rights, especially for women and children. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Basonko.
Now, coming up next is international news. The latest Mo Ibrahim Index 2022 report has stated that Africa's overall governance performance has remained static in most countries, while there are improvements in some. It also stated that the continent is considered less secure than it was a decade ago. Suleiman Dabo has more.
According to the recently released Ibrahim Index of African Governance, Mauritius is ranked first in the overall governance category, with Seychelles on second. Countries such as Tunisia, Cape Verde, Botswana, South Africa, Ghana, Namibia, Senegal, and Morocco coming on next. The worst performing countries are Somalia, Eritrea, and South Sudan, occupying the last 3 places. According to the IIAG, Burundi is bouncing back, while Tanzania and Rwanda showed overall improvement. These results are not very surprising for countries like Rwanda, which has undergone a long period of civil war, even though the country has made significant progress in transforming its road and other development infrastructure. When it comes to security in the continent, the IIAG research shows an increasingly perilous security situation and widespread democratic backsliding that has undermined the progress registered elsewhere. It has undermined progress made in the areas of human development and foundations for economic opportunity category, which has seen progress across the continent. The Mo Ibrahim Foundation, which conducted this research and published it, recognized that factors outside the continent, such as the COVID-19 pandemic and the climate crisis, have contributed to this continental reality. The report states, this is now exacerbated by the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war and its particularly harsh indirect impact on Africa. In the area of women empowerment, 42 countries have showed consistent progress for a decade. While some question the report's findings on women's empowerment, others agree that progress has been made. For example, in Nigeria, Gladys Akpan told DW that every day you see how women are being maltreated. You go to the hospital, they say men first. Even the church or the bank, they say men first. Joy Adesua, however, is glad that there is improvement, saying cautiously, but we have a long way to go. More women need to be elected to political office, and we have to see an end to cultural discrimination before we can say there is substantial improvement in gender issues. And that cautious statement from Joy Adesua encapsulates both the security and economic situation of the African continent. It is undeniable that the continent has registered and taken steps to address security and developmental issues, but it still has a very long way before there is significant achievement in these areas. The last word should go to the report's stack analysis, which states, and I quote, Africa's overall governance score has flatlined since 2019, and in 2021, much of Africa is less safe, secure, and democratic than in 2012. The continent's progress has been affected by concerning deteriorations in both security and rule of law and participation, rights and inclusion, with the pace of decline accelerating since 2017, end quote. Suleiman Dam for QTV News.
Now to sports news. Mariama Sowe, the coach of the Gambia Women's national football team, says winning the bronze medal at the recently ended WAFU Senior Women's Football Championship in Cape Verde has boosted their morale to do even better in the next competition. I spoke to her and her vice captain, and this is my report. Fresh from winning the bronze medal, the Gambia Women's national football team coach says the wonderful achievement in Cape Verde has lifted spirits and strengthened the team's motivation to do better next time, despite missing out on a spot twice in the Women's AFCON.
I have this confidence and courage that even Nigeria this time around, if we meet them, people will see different. As you mentioned earlier, our first AFCON qualifiers, we eliminate Burkina Faso, and unfortunately we meet with Africa #1, that is Nigeria, and we are out. And our second AFCON also we meet with Sierra Leone, and the second game was against second best, that is Cameroon, and we are out of the we were out of the Cup of Nations. But being the bronze medal title holders, this time around people will see different.
Regarding the competition, she says her team was committed, which made her job easier, but poor officiating cost her team a place in the final.
The referee denied me of playing the final, because hadn't been that he have awarded those 2 penalties that we got, people would have seen different. We have been in the final, but unfortunately the referee denied us being playing the final. Looking at the team that we traveled to Cape Verde, it was a very good team. The players are young, they are determined, committed. We speak one voice that makes us to win, to achieve what we got. And I'm saying a big congratulations to them. Let them keep up the good work, and come next, people will see a different senior national team.
Woman of the Match award winner Ola Bwiam says scoring a brace in the 3rd place playoff match against Guinea-Bissau was a moment of joy for her. Bwiam is a pacey player who sometimes struggles to score goals, but in this game, she kept her composure and was handsomely paid for it.
First of all, I would thank my coaches and the players, because they were the one helping me throughout the competition, and they were encouraging me a lot so that I can be a better player. So I'm really happy. As my coach said, I'm always in a hurry on my final tag, and then my last game, I was, before I go to the game, I was saying that today I will not be in a haste. When I go to the final tag, I will keep myself down and then do the best.
As it is every player's dream to play professional football at the highest level, Ola Buaro is not an exception.
I'm looking forward to have a good club outside, and then so that I will be better and then work on my final tag, because I know in the Gambia here I can work on it, but through when I'm exposed, I know that I will face many difficulties, many defenders, and then I will be a great player for sure.
The Gambia Women's national football team is currently ranked 123rd in the world, according to